Going on, y'all? Convos season 4, episode 6. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. We're a little low on the number. We're behind on the numbers for sure, for sure. Um, so just finding out right this week that this topic is pretty sensitive to people, and I don't blame them. I don't blame them at all. I don't. Talking about stuff like this, there's some people that believe when you talk about ghosts, when you talk about paranormal shit, it can attract. I forgot what the word is for that, but it can attract that stuff. Same thing with like watching scary movies and stuff like that, like the horror demonic type movies they make nowadays. Yeah, because that's like most of the horror movies they make these days is all demonic tied shit. Be woke. That's probably a message. It's probably a message. But anyway, anyway, so a lot of people believe that stuff like that is gonna attract that to them, that type of energy or whatever, and yeah, they don't want to talk about it or even think about it, and I don't blame them. I'm very superstitious myself, but I feel like me personally, there's nothing wrong with talking about it. As long as you don't like, I don't know, man. I think if you're not in the right place with whatever your religion is, then maybe don't talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Maybe not. Maybe don't attract that type of energy. But I feel like if you're right with your religion and you know where your mind is, where your heart is, you should be good. You know what I'm saying? I've talked about this topic for 6 episodes now, and I haven't seen no paranormal shit. But then again, I've never seen, heard, or anything like that in my whole life, and I'm grateful for that. Thankful for that because I don't want to see that shit. I don't want to hear that shit. You know. But as a kid, like scary movies, all that stuff, watching them ghost hunting people, like it was interesting. I would never do it, but watching them do that stuff and then be ballsy enough to bring a camera in there and a crew and just fucking go and find ghost shit. I always thought that stuff was interesting, but we still have people that, damn my neck, we still have people that don't really believe it, like spirits and stuff, and then we have people that definitely do. And what I noticed is a lot of people that believe it could see that type of stuff or have seen that type of stuff. So it's interesting to hear other people's stories, and that's what I like about this season is already, like I said, this one's the 6th episode, and already we've heard from previous guests some pretty good stories. Um, it's been interesting. It's been an interesting season so far. Only thing I want to work on is the numbers, but oh, here we go. Yo, can you hear me really well?
Yes, I can actually hear you really well.
Okay, cool. Same here. So go ahead, introduce yourself to everybody.
Well, my name is Jillian, and I'm from New Jersey. And I don't know if I want to share my age, though. I feel like that's a little.
You don't have to, but I can tell you, like, you don't look too much older than me. So
And you would be how old?
I'm 21,
I mean, thank you. I'm flattered, but yeah, I'm a little up there.
a little up there.
A
Well,
little.
well, you're wearing it well. So there you go. You
Thank
got
you,
that
thank
going
you.
for sure, for sure. So my question is, does paranormal, all that type of stuff, is that like something that's interested you as to why you wanted to come on the podcast, or?
To be honest, I was a little apprehensive, just because I honestly didn't know the topic. I just kind of wanted to, be in a conversation with you. So once, we set up the date and everything, and I'm like, okay, let me check out the topic. I'm like, oh my God, what did I get myself into?
Uh,
Just because I feel like it's such a taboo topic to speak about.
for sure. I was just explaining that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I can see.
So
I'm a very superstitious individual myself, so I believe like when you watch some type of horror movies and stuff, like that could definitely attract that type of energy. But like when people tell their stories of like what they saw and everything, it's really interesting to hear that type of stuff. You know.
yeah, like I mean, I'm not against, watching things. I think I heard one of your streams where the young lady was saying how she likes to watch a lot of crime stuff.
Yeah.
I am that's me 100%. So I literally fall asleep listening to crime stuff on YouTube, which is a little weird, but
No, that's not weird at all.
you know,
I used to watch the crime shows and stuff with my grandma when I was a kid. So and we'd end up falling asleep to it. So no, that's not weird.
yeah. So yeah, I'm not like really opposed to like dabbling or even just listening to it. Because I feel like when you have like a lot of faith, I feel like nothing can kind of like distract you from that. But I
Absolutely.
kind of
Yeah.
do understand that there are some people that are like, if you sort of invite or are welcoming something, then that might become a problem. So
Yeah, and see that's what I want people to understand though. Like talking about is one thing, but like when you doing like when you playing them games that a lot of people in my generation like to fuck around and do, that's a whole different story, you know, and that's nothing that I ever want to get into. You know what I'm
no,
saying?
of course, like even
Yeah.
with the whole like Ouija board thing, never. I
Woo-wee.
don't think
No.
I would ever even like put a finger on the box, let alone just because okay, it could be a game, but then what if it's not a game type
Yeah.
of thing.
Yeah. Me as a Latino, I come with a lot of superstition, a lot of family members that would look down on that heavily. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
of course. Yo soy dominicana, so like
Yeah.
I grew up in a heavy Catholic home. Well, not super heavy per se, but like we were going to church every Sunday, stuff
Yeah.
like that. So it's like you know
Yeah.
that's no, we don't
Which
welcome that.
what do you think of people like wanting to do that, wanting to be so curious as to like playing those games? You know, I'm talking like high school to like 25, we'll say, because that's usually when you
Um,
get curious about that.
Again, I feel like nowadays, we kind of don't know what's real and what's not.
Yeah.
Just because, technology and everything can be so easily manipulated. So, you see videos sometimes where it's like, oh, something supernatural happened to me, and it's like a door slams behind somebody. But it's like,
Yeah.
who's to say that wasn't edited? Or like, there's not a string. Like, there's just so much going on. But I feel like when people kind of, like I said before, when they invite those things into your space, it's
Yeah.
kind of like you just don't know. So I don't know. I just feel like those certain topics shouldn't be touched, at least not in a playful way. It should be
Yeah.
kind of left to like the professionals, the santos or whoever else.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Definitely. Yeah. I definitely think they need to not play those types of stuff. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah,
we could say that all day, and they're still gonna be like, "Well, I'm curious, so let's find out." And it's
I
like,
don't
"All
know.
right, good luck to you. I'm gonna pray for you."
Exactly, exactly. When you have some funny stuff happening to you, I don't want to hear anything. So
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But
yeah.
so the whole main reason why I picked paranormal and myths was obviously we're getting into that spooky season. You know, Halloween's not too far away, so I thought it'd be a cool topic to have for this fall season. You know, and I do my seasons based off the actual season. So,
Oh, that's
but
awesome.
yeah, so far it's been kind of tough because, like you said, a lot of people don't want to think about it, talk about it, and then some people are like, "Bro, I got stories," and I'm like, "Let's hear it," you know. But
I mean, even I don't know, because I feel like again, all this stuff is subjective. Like I feel like, people I do know people that are very adamant that they're like, I have stories or I have stories and this happened to me when I was young, or I have like, I have senses, or I dream that something's gonna happen and then boom, something happens. Or
yeah,
like in our culture, I think death comes in threes. Like just a bunch of like myth, like superstitions and stuff like that. And I feel like I don't want to discredit anybody that has gone through that. I
yeah.
feel like, if it's to each his own. I personally don't have any stories per se, but I kind of just like try to steer clear from it just because I'm like, I don't even want to just think about any of that.
Which is a good thing. Which is a good thing. I mean, yeah, it'd be interesting to have stories about it, cool, but
Yeah.
to stay clear of it's the better, like the better way to go about it. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm in the
Yeah.
same boat. I've never seen nothing, heard nothing, and I thank God for that. You know. But
Yeah.
I've had sleep paralysis before too, and a lot of people say they see like figures and stuff, and I've never seen that. I can't move, but I've never. It's like pitch black to me still. You know.
Yeah. Like the girl that you were speaking to, she was saying about laying on the back and like, the spinal cord and all that. Like even with the sleep paralysis, like I mean, it's happened to me where in my mind I can hear myself like move. Like
Yeah.
move your hand, wake up, open your eyes, and it's like I can't. And
Yeah,
like for
it's
10
scary as
minutes, I'm
hell.
sitting in bed like, come on, wake up, wake. And then all of a sudden I wake up and I'm like, okay, what the heck was that? Like,
Don't you wake up and you start like breathing heavy? Like, what the hell was I in?
yeah, like
Like,
my mind is telling me to just open my eyes, but I just can't. Now I've heard stories where people go through that and they feel things, you know, they feel whatever it is or see figures. And I'm like, I
yeah,
can't imagine. I would never sleep.
yeah, I'd be taking like sleeping pills and stuff. Like, I'd break a record. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, because I don't want to go through that. You
Yeah.
know?
Well, I'm such chicken shit. Like, remember Paranormal Activity?
Yeah, yeah,
So my dumbass, let me tell you, my dumbass went to go actually watch the movie, and this was like obviously years ago, and I was, you know, living with my parents, and my parents, you know, they live in an old home, so you could hear everything. And I'm also the type of person that I sleep very lightly, so like
yeah,
even the little like creaking or just anything, I'm just what was that? What happened?
yeah,
I didn't sleep for like 4 days. Literally did not sleep for 4 days. Just because every little I used to hear, I used to be like, what's that? What's going on?
yeah, yeah.
Never again.
Like
Never.
a little knock on the wall or something. Yeah,
Yeah, like that whole conjuring and you know, the Amityville, like all that stuff. No, no.
I can't like that's the thing. Like, it seems like nowadays people are making movies based off, demonic, dark stuff, and that's why I can't watch the horror movies nowadays. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I like the old school slashers. Like, let's go back to that. Let's not
Chucky.
Chucky, Friday the 13th. Freddy Krueger. Like,
Yeah, like I'm from like that era, so like Child's Play and stuff like that. That kind of stuff to me when I was younger was like horror movies. But
yeah,
once you start getting into like the really in-depth thing, like I don't even know what that movie is where it's like the nun, like where it has like the really, yeah, no, I can't fuck with that. Like I just like, for what, why am I
yeah.
gonna psych myself out?
Not only that, but like to make a whole like figure like that, but be dressed in like a, what do you call it? In a
A
holy,
religious, yeah.
yeah, in a holy figure. It's like, I feel like that's kind of like mocking a little bit in a sense.
Yeah, it's blasphemous, like blasphemous, but like I feel like I think people want to blur the lines a lot. um and I also, I mean, I think it's wrong, obviously, because you know I think it's wrong,
Yeah,
but I feel like people see it as like, well, people believe in good spirits, you know, we pray
yeah,
to the saints and, you know, Mary and all this other stuff, and those to them are, you know, imaginative figures, so why not sit there and kind of try to blur the lines? But I just feel like, yeah, no, my
yeah.
mom would whoop my butt. Whoop
Yeah,
my
any
butt.
type of stuff like that, nah. Like, but I knew at that age too. Like, I'm not playing with that. Like, that's gonna screw me for life, probably. You know,
Exactly.
because the other thing is like, if I did intangible in those activities, I wouldn't know how to get that stuff off me. Like,
And yeah, and then once you have it stuck to you, it's like now you gotta go get holy water thrown on you, or like just for the
yeah,
peace of mind. It's like, para qué? Like, why would you want to even do that? Like, just don't mess with it. Leave it alone. You know?
exactly. That's a whole level of trouble that you don't need in your life, type of deal. That's just extra shit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So have
But
you ever had any like, well, you said you didn't have any stories. Have you known anybody close to you that has had those stories?
so I don't know if you have this in Dominican culture, but La Llorona, she's big in Mexican culture. I know she's big in Puerto Rican culture, but the story is kind of a little different.
Yeah, I've heard of
Um,
it.
yeah, so I've had family members that have claimed to have heard her cries, have seen her, and like just took off running, type of deal. Obviously that's the smart thing to do. But yeah, I've never actually seen it. I just heard stories and stuff, and I've always been intrigued. Like, oh shit, I want to know more, and then I'd be
Yeah.
scared later on. But you know,
Yeah. I mean, I've heard like the name. I don't really know like the in-depth part of the story per se. Um but even then, like I don't know if you ever heard of like Bloody Mary.
oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, like stuff like that. I'm assuming that it is it like that?
Kind of, it's a evil spirited woman type of deal. So in the same sense of that. So La Llorona, the whole story goes, it was like low class woman gets married to a man of high class, and this is all in Mexico. They
Mhm.
have kids, and then the man cheats on her finds a woman more of his liking. But whenever he comes to visit, he only pays attention to the kids, not her. And I guess she felt some type of jealousy every like the more he did that. So one day she was just fed up and she threw her kids in the river, realized she fucked up,
Oh
and
my
then went to dive in and try to go save them and then drowned herself. And then she was forced to roam the earth looking for her kids to this day.
oh my God. Didn't they make a movie about that recently?
Yeah, but that shit was Hollywood. You know what I'm saying? Like that
Okay,
wasn't
okay.
the
Because
legit
I
shit. Like they
remember
had the
River
story.
Kid woman.
Yeah, they had the right idea down. It was just like it was all Hollywooded out after a
Like
while.
don't butcher it. Don't you know?
And then they tried to tie that into the Conjuring universe and stuff, and it's like, dude, like, nah,
Like
this is different.
I don't know, like that stuff for me, something that sticks out like growing up, for me, I don't know if you ever the Poltergeist.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah,
I don't know, for some reason, like even like what's the other one? The one where she like her head spins and like she throws up. What's the name of
The
that movie?
Exorcist.
The
Yeah, I never
Exorcist.
seen
Okay.
it, but I've seen clips and stuff, and I'm like,
So
nah.
growing up, everybody was like, "Oh my God, for its time, this is so horrible," taken out of theaters and stuff. And it wasn't until I was an adult that I actually decided to watch it. And I'm like, okay, it has like some parts. It's really like certain things happen in the movie that you're like, wow, yeah, if this is a little bit much for me as a person that, is a Catholic person, then I'm
Yeah,
sure at the time back then it was gonna be like super crazy. Um, but those movies to me like stick out a lot
yeah.
just because I remember specifically just the little lady like Carol Ann, and I'm like, oh my God, no, no. For its time, just the static and all that. I don't know.
The handprint on the TV. Yeah, but see,
It,
that's crazy. That comes from their house being on a sacred Indian burial ground. And that's a real thing. There's a lot of, especially like if you're from Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, Colorado, you have a lot of buildings that could potentially be on in like Native American burial grounds. You know what I'm saying? Can have
yeah,
some crazy stuff with it. So that is scary.
that to me is crazy. But even then, I feel like with that being said, you also have to consider like even homes. Like I said, I watch a lot of crime shows, and there are actually laws or some laws that don't you don't have to disclose that there's been a crime committed in a place or in a home.
That's
I don't know
crazy.
if you knew that, like, you would think that that would be the most like common courtesy thing to say, like, hey, there was a murder here,
Yeah,
before you buy the house,
someone
but
got
they're
shot in this motherfucker. Like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. But there's literally some. I don't know if there is states that require it or the majority of them don't. You don't have to
yeah,
disclose that, unless you do your research. So then, who are you to say you buy a home and boom, all of a sudden now you're having, little handprints or little footprints running around your hallway, and you're like, what the hell? Like, what's
I
going on?
think the one thing that would get me out of anything is like the little kid laughter. I don't play with that, bro. That's enough to make me.
Remember the Blair Witch Project?
Yeah, so my parents actually, so I'm originally from Colorado and we moved to Maryland when I was still in high school at the time. And out there, they're not too far. Like they're in Maryland. So Blair Witch is like what? Like Blair Witch is in Maryland, right?
I
Virginia type, DMV
you know
type
what, I
area in
don't even
the woods.
remember. Yeah.
Somewhere around that area. So not too far. And I remember my mom being like, yeah, we're not too far from there. And I'm like, don't play with me. No.
So you're like, I'm never going camping.
I still went camping, just nowhere near there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I just the thing that sticks out in that part for me is like the kicking of the tent, and it
Yeah.
was like it was a shitty movie per se, that it was like low budget and you didn't really see anything gory, but just the idea of
You didn't even
what
see the witch.
that's what I'm saying. But even like the sticks and like little things that are happening, I think that's the scariest part for me. Like I feel like if I were to see something, I would be a little less scared. It sounds weird to say, versus something that I didn't see. Like you said, like if I see like a handprint and I'm like, that wasn't there a second ago, I think that would freak me out more because I can't physically see it. I can't run
Yeah.
away from it.
Not only
So
that, but like you don't know what's gonna happen next. Or like what other surprises it's gonna leave for you. You know what I'm saying?
exactly, exactly, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel you on that. That definitely would freak me out too. Like I said, any little thing like that would be enough for me to dip out, not be around it.
Of course.
That's
There
why I
is.
would be. That's why I would be a horrible horror movie character because I wouldn't last. Like I wouldn't last in the movie. I would just dip.
I mean, I know it's movies, but I just don't get how people. They're like, oh, something's happening. Let me go investigate.
It's
Really?
funny. Yeah, yeah. That
Why?
or
What's the reason? What was the reason? Like,
like if they heard a noise in the closet, they're gonna like slowly go open the door and like they're waiting for the jump scare and stuff. Like
nope,
why put
nope.
yourself in that position in the first place? You know.
I hear something and I'm out the door. If I heard footsteps in in my hallway in the middle of the night, you best to believe I'm running down those stairs as fast as possible. There's no
But it's
let me
funny
go
how
open the
they
door.
it's funny how they do that though because when you look at like people that go ghost hunting and the whole you know what I'm talking about those ghost shows. What
Yeah.
what ethnic group are they?
YT?
They're bold enough to go and do that. So I'll watch that all day. I'll be like, shit, he might catch something, but I'll
Nah.
never be with him.
Nah, see, I feel like that's where I kind of draw the line because even with those shows, like who voluntarily decides to get locked into a penitentiary that has paranormal activity? Like for the
Yeah,
sake of entertainment, sure, but you bring that home. Like
yeah.
you literally now there's a spirit there. Now you're bringing that shit home. What you gonna do now?
And now their whole life becomes dealing with spirits and stuff like that.
Uh,
I feel like that'd be exhausting as hell.
I don't know. Like, I just feel like a lot of stuff, when people sit there and kind of mess with it and think it's almost like entertainment, um, just why do it? Like I said, whoever wants to believe what they want to believe, whether it's real, whether it's not, just because I believe in the good spirits, then obviously there has to be, something that,
Yeah,
I'm not going to fully be like, oh, there's super crazy demonic beings, but then there are times where, especially like in the Dominican culture, they say se le metió el diablo. Like,
hmm
they do things. They could be a great father, and then all of a sudden you snap, and then you end up killing your family. And they're like, oh my God, I just had temporary insanity. So it kind of gets you thinking, like, is it a mental thing, or is it really you're in that moment possessed by something that is not, holy?
yeah.
So that to me is something that I believe because I can't sit there and be like, oh yeah, I believe and pray to these people or these saints, but that bad stuff is not real. Like, yeah, yeah, it is.
It's definitely because I mean, yeah, there's such a thing as bipolar disorder and shit like that, but to just straight up snap and to start doing bad stuff, yeah, like that's got to be something that goes further than just having a mental disorder.
Exactly. Or even like the multiple personality disorder.
Yeah, what's
Like
that movie? Split.
yeah, like split personality. Like most people, they try to say that is actually not that that's not true. But I think there's one specific case where they were able to kind of like test it out. Maybe not as much as he had,
Yeah,
but people are able to be like, hey, this person is this one time has this mind and this character, and then now they're this person.
yeah.
So
Kind of like the same with like when like people that talk to themselves frequently, and they have like a voice in their head.
yeah.
I don't know what that voice is.
Again, it could always be like that little angel and the little devil thing.
It could be, but if they're into some, not so
Yeah,
original stuff, that might not be God.
yeah, I don't know. Like again, in the Dominican culture, you know, we have brujos, and even like next to Haiti and stuff like that, and they'd be like, oh, hacer un trabajo, or like you get work done on somebody, whether it's a
Yeah,
love or a money thing. And I'm not saying that I don't believe it because I feel like I do, but I also feel like when you do things like that, it comes back tenfold.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it's like, yeah, you want him to fall in love with you, but now he falls so much in love with you that he's gonna end up being obsessed and do something to you. So like, why even do it? Like,
yeah. See, that's not even just in Dominican culture. That's in Latin culture in general. Like that's big in Mexico. Brujas doing stuff like that, messing with the crystals and stuff. Nah, a
Yeah,
lot of
that
people that will mess with that and try to get what they want, or like, let's say they have a breakup and the person didn't like how they broke up, so they want to put a curse. That
um,
stuff's real. People do
una
that.
madre and stuff. But also, even in like in the Native American culture, like when they used to um try to heal and holistic healing and stuff. It's like,
Mhm.
they're praying to higher beings and, they're saying, oh, they can heal you with just this or that and gods and all that stuff. So again, who's to say that if you're using it for good, then the bad stuff is not real? I just feel like it all depends on your faith and, the way
Yeah.
that.
Oh yeah, for sure. But you can't get the good without the bad. You know what I'm saying? There always has to be a bad to combat the good. You know.
Exactly, exactly.
But I like Native American culture for sure. Like I like how they did like the rituals and stuff like that. It was cool.
Yes.
One
Yeah.
thing I will never try though is the peyote. Like they would use that to go on like journey quests and stuff like that.
Which is what? Like explain that because I don't think I've ever heard about that.
I don't really know too much either, but I know like peyote is like a plant, and they would take this plant and turn it into a drink, and they would drink it and then go on this hallucination
Oh, like
trip,
shrooms?
kind of. But instead, shrooms doesn't make you go on a whole journey inside the mind. Like peyote makes you go on a whole fucking journey throughout your mind, from what I hear, and that's how they find out like what to do next or like what they need to do type of deal, and it's interesting.
Like a spiritual thing. I did
Yeah.
hear that they used to practice. I'm not even sure what it's called, but they used to practice a ritual where it was like they were in a tent and it got so hot in there, and then they would use that. I think maybe for that to like have the spiritual awakening. And it was just like some people would actually end up dying, because you're in heat, you're doing this, you're doing that. I don't know. I
Yeah.
just feel like it's
Yeah, that's interesting. Like how some coaches did stuff. Um, but like going back to like the peyote and the shrooms, I would never do that stuff. I don't. I like to know where my mind's at.
yeah, at all
You know what I'm saying?
times. At all times. But I feel like people think that when they're able to free their mind from whatever it is, like from everyday thing, I feel like they assume that, you do have a spiritual awakening. You do have a more tapped insight on who you are and where, you want to go and stuff. But just like you said, I don't think I'm willing to risk, temporary insanity per se, just to be able to be like, oh, I'm gonna be enlightened and we're gonna woo
Yeah,
go on this
because
journey.
I've had homies that have tried that. Shrooms, acid, all that
Yeah.
stuff, and I've heard that they had bad trips, and I've heard that they had good trips, and they know themselves better. I'm like,
Yeah.
man, cool. But the ones that had bad trips were saying they saw their worst fears, all this stuff, and I'm like, bruh. First
Yeah.
off, my worst fear is spiders. If I start seeing shit crawl on the wall, like that's a wrap, bro.
Like I'm losing, I'm running. Yeah, no. That's why I'm like, I don't know, I don't think I'm willing to risk any of that.
Nah,
But to each his own, to each his own. Those are the things that people feel that they need to do in order to, be more in tune with themselves and knock
yeah,
themselves out. But that whole like opening those portals that people do, I just feel like, yeah, no.
yeah. Like, did you ever go to high school and like you just know people that wanted to try that type of stuff?
Um I mean, I feel like, yeah, like I feel like we all know people, especially when we were younger and there was not a lot of things, to do. I
Yeah,
actually went to high school in Texas. I live in New Jersey. I grew up in New Jersey, and I went to high school in Texas. And sometimes there's really not a lot to do. And I'd be lying if I said there wasn't a time where it'd be like, yeah, let's all hang out and like let's play with the Ouija board. I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm going home.
yeah.
I'm out.
I would expect them to say, "Let's hang out, get fucked up, or something." I'm like, cool.
Yeah, like let's go to the bonfire. Like let's
Yeah, cool
no.
shit.
There's
But play with a Ouija board, like I don't want to do that.
I feel like those kind of things. I've always just sort of been trying to steer just away from it. Don't open those
Yeah,
portals. Don't do those things. Now, in regards to like the other stuff and the myths and the aliens, I know people are kind of weird about that, but
what you think? You think aliens exist?
damn right.
I'm not
I'm
denying
just
it. I'm
kidding.
with you. I'm with you, and I believe because we can't be the only planet with a lot with life on it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, and I
In
feel
this
like
big ass universe, there's no fucking way.
yeah, of course. No, and I feel like technology has been so advanced
It's
in
very
such a
advanced
short
right now.
time
Yeah,
that it's like, okay, we went from trying to figure, how to make an airplane fly to then doing this or putting a microchip in like, the tip of your finger. And
and
it's like,
making robotic people.
that to me is just wild. Like, I just feel like, in that aspect, yes. To what degree, I kind of don't know because I feel like it's been in like such under wraps for so long and they're slowly like desensitizing us. I know I probably sound like a weirdo, but
No, no, not at all. No, I'm right there with you.
yeah, like I tell my friends all the time, I'm like, whenever they pop up and be like, surprise, I'll be like, what surprise? I already knew this. Like, I watch
Yeah,
Ancient Aliens and a lot of the stuff that they
I'm
say.
glad you like that, man. I've been called. I'm not like nerdy with school or anything, but when people hear I've seen Ancient Aliens and stuff, they're like, "Oh,
Oh,
you tapping into your nerd side." I'm like, "Nah, that shit's
oh.
interesting as fuck."
Like I watch it, like I watch a lot of the shows, and yeah, there's some the people that like the panelists that
Yeah.
I just be like, you're a little weird. Like I don't know that guy, the one with the curly hair, that sometimes he says like outlandish shit.
Oh yeah, he has like that weird fucking Wolfgang fucking hair.
Yes, like he and I'm like, yeah, you're a little. I don't know about you. Like,
I feel like most of the time in that show, he's in denial of it. Like he wants to agree with it, but at the same time, he's like, "But I don't know too much." And I'm like,
yeah.
"Bro,
No, I just feel like the science, like some of the sciences stuff, like when they explain like okay, the pyramids and or the big hieroglyphics and all that other stuff that
yeah,
pops up that is unexplained, you would think like, okay,
that's
but
yeah,
how?
that's what makes me think like it's not how movies predict. You know how like movies predict how like aliens are just gonna invade and take out humans, and then I don't think that's how it is. I think if anything, we're kind of like an experiment, and they helped build the pyramid, build a Tenochtitlan. That's probably a big thing they helped with too, and I feel like we're just a big experiment, and they wanted to see like civilization arise
Of
from there.
course,
You know what I'm
of
saying?
course.
They want
But
to just
even
take us out. Like what would be the reason for that?
well, I mean, think about like back in the day with like the Neanderthals and all that other stuff. Again, it's all about evolution.
Yeah,
You start from somewhere, and where are we now? We are an evolution of that, I believe. So they're like, okay, we didn't do it right this time, so now let's go to the cave people. Okay, we didn't do that right, so let's eradicate them. Let's do these people. So I feel like it's been like trial and error. And like you said, I really do think it's like an experiment. I think they're like sitting up there and like being like, oh, you know what? Let's give them one more try. Let's do.
they're probably pretty disappointed right now though. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, they've been disappointed. They like,
Like
man.
technology wise, maybe they're like, okay, they're figuring out shit, but like the way people are socializing, doing stuff like that, they're probably like, bro, really,
Oh,
like
of
you
course.
guys aren't,
They've been disappointed in us a long time ago because we're it's
because
the
they
end of the day.
you got to think we went from back then procreation on the rise. Nowadays, it's slowed down so much, and it's because of the petty issues people are so worried about and stuff like that.
Yeah, of course. No, I 100% agree with that. But like you said, it's an experiment, and everything I feel like is trial and error.
Hmm.
So we've gotten to a point where it's like, let them figure it out. Let humanity figure it out. Either they're gonna take each other out, and they're gonna kill the planet, or they're gonna do this, or they're gonna do that, or we're gonna, help them find different ways
Yeah,
of of making it work. Like, I don't know if you believe in that, but like, for example, years ago when they started with the global warming and the ozone layer and all this other
yeah.
stuff, and it was like, you guys are killing the planet, you're killing the planet, you're killing. And then fast forward now, all of a sudden it's like, well, the ozone layer is getting fixed. Well, we're looking for other, combustible, whatever. Oh, now
Yeah.
we can fly to Mars. And it's just like, oh, so you guys were beating us up like mad years ago, talking about we was all gonna die. And then now we got options.
Yeah,
Now we can pay millions of dollars to get on a spaceship and come on.
yeah.
Like, now y'all just playing. Now y'all just throwing anything out there.
Which yeah, with the technology and stuff. What do you think of the AI stuff? How much that's coming out now?
I mean, honestly, I think it's, again, it's always been there. But I
That's,
feel like we have to tread lightly, because just like anything, if it gets out of control, it can cause like a big problem. Um, and I was actually having a conversation with somebody recently where I was like, anything that's electronic or anything that's like computerized or whatever can pose a threat because anybody can manipulate it.
yeah, and abuse it and stuff. Yeah, they can
Yeah,
get
you
carried away with it. Yeah,
you
definitely.
can hack it, you can whatever. So who's to say that, they're not building robots and everything, and then we have like, what was that movie, iRobot or whatever it was? Or
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, or like have them take over. Oh, we have a manual switch to like override it. No, not if you have like hackers that are able to override your override. I don't know. Just like, nah, don't do any of that.
At that point, it becomes battle of the brainiacs, man. And
Yeah,
I could lie, I'd lose that, man. I'm not too. I'm not on the smart category when it comes to like technology and stuff like that.
yeah.
Science. Nah,
And
I'm a
even then, like a lot of these machines and technology is also being used to, like Amazon and stuff, to take away jobs. But then in hindsight, it's like you're having all these computers and robots do these things, but yet you're complaining about how nobody wants to work, how you don't want to pay them. So then what
yeah.
are you contributing to? You're contributing to obesity, you're contributing to, laziness or whatever it is. So it's like, what do you guys want? Do you guys
Not only
just
that, but like capitalism in general is gonna go downhill because the only people that would be still making money are the business owners or maybe like people making content like this or any type of content creators, influencers, maybe still, yeah. But then again,
yeah.
AI, the way they make AI, they make it look so realistic like people, they can start using that too. So,
Like
and
that to me, I'm sorry, you were saying?
no, I was just saying, like, it's trippy. Like, that can potentially take everybody's job except for business owners,
Yeah, of
except for the
course.
rich people.
Like I feel like even when they started, remember when they started doing the holograms? I was
Yeah,
like, what are you guys doing? Like, why do we want to see Michael Jackson as like a hologram? Like,
that's
come
kind of
on, let
scary.
the man rest in peace. Like, why?
Yeah.
Um, or I don't know if you recently heard about like the whole, obviously the AI thing where you have the voice of Nicki Minaj or like whoever singing,
Yeah.
Taylor Swift stuff.
So that's what I
Why?
heard. There was like a movie star strike or whatever, like Hollywood strike.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The
It's still going
actors and
on.
actors, yeah, went on strike for that.
That
So,
that's a whole nother, like, see, but that, and again, that's a whole in-depth conversation about the streaming thing.
mhm.
Um, because when a lot of these contracts for a lot of these stars were enacted, they did not include streaming royalties. So what's happening now is like any movie that somebody worked very hard on, that's in theaters for a certain amount of time will now go to a streaming service.
Yeah,
So the person that owns it and subsidies are always going to end up making the money that the stars aren't. So then they get these residual checks that end up being pennies on the dollar. So then it's like, that is going forward. That's something that obviously has to be incorporated into these
yes.
things. But I feel like that wasn't, and that's what people are fighting about.
Uh,
Did you hear about the Dave Chappelle thing with the whole Netflix and Comedy
yeah,
Central? Like
yeah,
that,
yeah.
you know? So that's why I feel like that's the biggest issue that's going on with the strike. It's like, these companies don't care about taking these shows that people worked on and saying, hey, now I'm going to sell it to Netflix for this amount of time. I'm going to make the money. You ain't going to get shit.
That's what I'm saying. Like, imagine being them, and then they're like, okay, we want to use your likeness. Okay, cool, yeah. As long as I get paid, cool. And then they don't get paid, but they have an AI using their likeness. Basically, them, but they're not getting any money from that, which is
Yep.
crazy. Because of course you'd want to make money off of yourself,
Yep.
and they're
Exactly.
not.
I don't know if you watch like Marvel, like a lot of the Marvel stuff. Because again, I'm a little.
Absolutely. I'm disappointed where it went though. You know what I'm saying? They should have never killed off Iron Man, bro.
I know, but you know what's going on? A lot of them are definitely, obviously, getting old, getting
Mhm.
older per se. And even for example, Scarlett Johansson. Like I don't know if you heard about the whole situation that happened with her, where she was literally suing because they told her, "Hey, we're gonna give you X amount of money if it goes into theaters." Then the pandemic happened, so they
Yeah,
were like, "Scrap that. We're gonna put that on streaming because everybody's home." And she literally had to fight and was like, "I'm not doing this shit again with you guys." So they're all easily dropping off, and that's where they go into like the multiverse and like just different younger characters.
yeah.
But, you know, I don't think
But
anybody
that's
can play Wolverine. I don't think anybody can play Iron Man besides Robert Downey Jr. So it's like, what you
yeah,
gonna do now? Like,
yeah. Which is like I don't know. It's gonna be hard for them to find someone else to play Iron Man. So I guess that's why they're like, oh, Iron Braveheart. And when that came out, everyone was like, what the fuck is this, bro?
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's like they're kind of like losing, because people, especially like in the fandom, have grown so attached
Yeah.
to these characters. But again, it's like they're only thinking about themselves. And I feel like once people start to realize that you kind of have to feed the people below you,
Hmm.
um, just out of, you don't have to, but just out of the goodness of your heart, then I feel like everything will be more like in harmony and everything will be more like in sync type of thing.
Absolutely. But the thing is, money will always be an issue when it comes to that.
Everything.
Yeah, when it comes to that type of stuff, that's what it is now. Money's always been an issue with any type of conflict or issue going on. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah, yeah.
always been money.
There was actually a comment that was leaked by, I guess, like the CEOs of, like, I forgot, Paramount or something, and they
Yeah,
were saying like, we're just gonna wait this out until they lose their homes and everything, where they're gonna have to strike until they lose everything, and they actually got out, and then
wow.
that's when the actors joined, like the producers and all that other stuff, into the strike, because before I think it started off with the writer
Hmm.
strike, the producer strike. So they're like, hey, we have the actors, but now we're just going to figure out how to make these movies or make an extension of the movies that we already have, elaborate on that. And then
Yeah.
eventually they were just like, okay, the actors now were like, wait, nah, we're not doing that. So
Yeah, it's
hopefully they
crazy.
fix it.
Yeah, it's crazy with all that. Do you believe a lot of like the celebrity? Like, I don't know if you're into conspiracy theories and stuff like that. I'm assuming so because of the
Yeah.
aliens and all that. But with like the celebrity conspiracy theories, where a lot of them are part of like a secret society of a sort. Do you believe that?
Um, yeah and no. Yes, because I feel like there has to be a society, just like just any club, anything that you're part of, like sororities, like that kind of stuff. So there has to be something. But even when they say like the occult, and it's like, oh well, it's demonic or this, or you have to sell your soul, I don't think it's to that degree. Even though some people
It,
might disagree.
it could be, but we could be wrong. It might just be like a regular cult, but instead of being demonic, it could be whoever runs that they got to do whatever they type of say. You know what I mean? Do
Yeah,
whatever
but
they want them to do.
take a look at Doja Cat.
Yeah, that happened out of nowhere. But doesn't that look scary though?
It does, but also you also have to think about the situation she was going through before that with her label. She was telling everybody that she was tired of being famous. They were working her to the bone, and she
Yeah.
just had to abide by her contract. So I think that all was a way for her to be rebellious, because she's
Yeah.
like, if I act crazy and I start being demonic or whatever, obviously that's a no go for people. So I think that was her way of like putting her foot down, um, in hopes that they'll go ahead and release her. But again, I just feel like, I don't know. It's always embedded in our music, and it's crazy to say if people are going to deny that it's not embedded in our music, because we see the symbols, we see those things that they want people to gravitate towards.
Yeah.
It's very evident.
And for some, it's hidden in the names too. Like I'm sure you know who the rapper Lil Uzi Vert is, right?
And if you say it fast, it's that name. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 exactly. See, not a lot of people. See, there's still a lot of people that don't know about that. They're just like, oh,
Yeah,
Lil Uzi Vert, you know what I'm saying? But they don't know that extended version, you know what I'm saying? And it's like he was kind of telling people something since he rose up, you know what I'm saying? He's always had that name,
yeah. But
and he's just
even like, um, I was gonna say, even like he had a line recently. I think it was at an award show where he was like, "I made a city girl believe in Satan." Like he said something along those lines in that lyric, and people on social media were like, "What the heck? Like who says that?"
yeah,
And he wasn't canceled. So then it's like, so what do you guys, you guys want to disagree about Doja Cat or this or that, but you guys pick and choose what to be selective outraged about.
yeah. And he said worse than that too. He straight up said like, like I think he was at some concert and he told everybody like, you guys thought you were right with God, well not today. Y'all listening to my music, y'all going right the hell with me or something. And then
Oh
he went
hell no! I would get up and walk out and be saying the Hail Marys and the
exactly,
Our
exactly,
Father.
but exactly, but everyone there is getting hyped up like, oh, is he gonna perform now? Like, bro, y'all don't know what the hell going on. He brainwashing y'all.
No, have you ever? Did you see the Sam? It was a Sam Smith.
I'm not sure.
Oh,
Did Sam
when
Smith do something recently?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And he was like literally, but it's a concert that if you don't advertise that there's gonna be some form of, people think it's all inclusive. And the next thing you know, you have children that are watching him in like latex suits and like blood, and it was just a lot. So I feel like, yeah, they're gonna shove it down your throat if you allow them to.
Yeah,
Um, but because it's everywhere, it's also very difficult to kind of like
yeah.
steer away from it. Because people thought Beyonce.
They still think that. They still think Jay Z, Beyonce are the motherfucking ringleaders of that code, and Kanye is kind of in the mix. This is what a lot of people believe, and that's because Kanye did kind of speak about that. That's the point.
I don't, you know what? Okay, so here's my thing, because I don't want the Bayhive to come after me, because I love me some Beyonce. Um,
I don't think they will. I've talked about this in
but
several episodes. I think they will at this point.
like, I like Beyonce. I like her music. I feel like she's very talented. But the way that they have some of these regular people on such pedestals, that it's like they're just regular people,
Hmm.
and I'm okay, with being enamored by somebody that's like, oh, you're an artist, like I value your work. But for me to be like, oh my god, I mean, maybe if I did see her, I'm just lying, but I don't think I would hold anybody to that regard, at least not anybody that's an entertainer.
Yeah,
Um, I feel like those sentiments should be held for, obviously God or whatever else you believe in, but we hold certain people and treat them like they're just gods. And it's like, they
which is a
believe just
little,
like
yeah,
you do.
which is a little excessive. Like just because they have the clout, the fame, whatever. Like they're still people. You know what I mean?
Exactly,
That's what people
exactly.
forget at the end of the day. Like they're still people, and they're probably used to getting screamed at by fans. Like in a crazy way. Like oh shit, maybe they just want to have a casual conversation.
Yeah, it's I don't know, again, it's been going on in music. Remember, what was it? Marilyn Manson, was it? Was it
Now
Marilyn
people
Manson?
thought that dude was straight up evil, straight
No,
up.
and then where's he at? That was that. And then remember the Osbournes. There's just been so like little trickling of things of
But it's
like, okay,
ironic. It's ironic because the devil was like he was an angel of music. You know what I'm saying when he was in the kingdom of God. So it's so ironic how music's been like the main source of all this shit.
now do you think it's a gimmick? Maybe do you think that they know that this is what's going to generate more like attention
It
per se?
could be it could be a gimmick, but also couldn't. It could be like straight up what the Bible says type of deal. At one point in the Bible it says like a lot of people are gonna turn away from God and be towards you know the
Yeah,
evil.
yeah.
And that's kind of what's going on in the music industry a little bit. You see all these gimmicks, like you said. So I could be wrong, could be a gimmick, but it also could be exactly what that text says, which is scary.
Yeah, because even like obviously back then there was a lot of more censoring, a lot of things that weren't allowed to be on TV and or radio or this or that. Like just certain words that even now I listen to like the clean version of these songs and I'm like, you guys censored that? And
Yeah,
look what's going on now. Like,
When they like back when they censored the word "damn."
yeah, like it's like, come on, man. Like, I don't know. So then that's what I'm saying. I feel like, they're letting a lot of things go now, but I feel like it could also be a way of drawing more attention to it. Because you would think that people, okay, there's some people that believe in, like, the dark stuff. There's people that believe in the light stuff. So yeah, you're gonna lose fans, but then why are you trying to entice the other fans? Like, even
Yeah,
like I said with Doja Cat, like her most recent VMA performance, I was watching the performance, but there was just so much going on that I was almost like disgusted, but I couldn't not watch because she's such a great artist and such a great performer. And
yeah,
I'm like, now I'm sitting there like grappling with myself, like, do I turn this shit off or do I like keep watching? Because I cannot stop watching. Like, look at the dancing and then look at her voice and her rapping. And then I'm like, now I gotta go pray.
yeah.
Now,
People said
now
that about a recent art. I forgot his name. It was I knew it like a couple days ago, but he was on like a hook. Like he hooked himself. I probably know who I'm talking about. It was like a recent concert, and he was like singing and whatever, and he had a hook on him.
wasn't
You
it
know,
Was it Sam Smith? Wasn't
no, it wasn't Sam Smith. He was a black artist.
it?
What the hell was his name? Miguel.
Really?
Yeah,
He's
it was
still
Miguel.
performing?
Yeah, it was Miguel. He was like in all black, and he had a hook. A lot of people were like, "Oh, that's some demonic shit," you know. But I don't know. You might be right. Could be a gimmick, but I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
It's hard to really say exactly what it is.
I
But it
just feel
does.
like I'm sorry, you were saying?
No, I was just saying like it's hard to tell, but it's scary though because
Yeah.
it's what the text says in the Bible too.
But I just feel like, again, like that, there's people that even if I'm if excuse me, even if it might not be as blatant, the acts or the visuals of the things that are going on,
Yeah,
there's still things, especially in Hollywood, that's why they call it Holly weird.
yeah,
Um where people will go ahead and do things and you're like, you really sold your soul. I don't judge anybody for, the things that they choose to do.
hmm,
Excuse me. But I draw the line on selling your morals and your soul in order to gain that notoriety. Like, I
yeah.
feel like I I watch a lot of cringe worthy things online, or people that want to go viral based off like just being so cringe that I'm like,
Like the
what?
AI challenge on TikTok.
I'm sorry, the what?
Like the AI challenge on TikTok.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
See, but I feel like some of that stuff is harmless, but like, for example, one of them that sticks out to me is just the people that are like, let's say they go out and play pranks on like homeless people, or like just doing malicious things that are like, really, like, you're really that low of a human to get to that point just because you want to have, that status or that notoriety, or like just even that clout. Like, why? you know
because that's all people. That's I'm gonna say with the generation I'm in. I'm gonna say I don't like the generation I live in. I don't, and I don't really have too much faith in it. I have hope, but I don't have faith in it. And I'm gonna say that a lot of my generation cares about clout, money, and attention. Those are like the three main things they care about. Which
yeah.
money I can understand. You want to make sure you're living, healthily and stuff like that. But for clout and attention, like you're gonna do the weirdest or dumbest shit just to try to get that attention. And it's temporary. You know what I'm saying? Let's say you do that and then you don't make any more videos for the rest of the year. It's gonna fade. You know,
Yeah.
you got to come up with something new.
But sometimes that's also the catalyst of like people's careers, like, what's her name, Pinky Doll, for example.
Yeah,
Like, okay, that's a new NPC thing. Da, 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 da. She has a clout, she's doing the streamings, whatever that award show is. But prior to that, she was an adult entertainer, and now she gets upset when it comes up, because people are bringing up your past. So then that's a primary example of, you want to do things to make money, but then when it's brought up later on, where now it's going to affect your children or your future husband or whoever, now you
yeah,
want it to be erased. Now realizing that whatever you put on the internet is on the internet forever, you
yeah,
know? So
yeah,
I just feel like, again, like, well, I'm gonna give my age. I'm a millennial, so um, I grew up in that age where the internet was just coming into fruition, where it was like, okay, now we got AOL chat rooms, and we have
That's still young.
we have
That's still young.
MySpace and Mi Gente and Black Planet and all these little things that, slowly but surely we started realizing, like, okay, whoever you portray online, whatever you do, it's out there
Yeah.
forever. That was before the whole, you can make money off YouTube, you can monetize yourself, you could do this, you could do that.
Yeah.
Um, so I kind of like have a different view, because I'm like, to each his own, but I also don't like the fact that if you ask a kid nowadays and say, hey, what do you want to be when you grow up? Instead of them saying, hey, I want to be a doctor, or I want to have, finish school, they're like, well, I want to be a YouTuber.
Yeah, they'll say stuff like that now, or like a TikToker. I'm like, bro.
Like,
I have younger siblings that watch all that stuff, and that's what they say they
God.
want to be in. Like that's funny you brought that up. I'm like, hey, if that's what you want to do, I mean, let's see where that goes. Try it out.
Yeah.
Definitely
Well,
try things that you're interested in, but
of
don't
course.
if it don't work out, like, come on, have a backup plan at least.
Yeah. But a lot of parents, they want to, because they feel like it's easy money. And let me tell you, creating content is not easy.
No.
It is not. Because I can go a whole day with creating content and I'm exhausted. My old back hurts, my knees hurt. Just it's just a lot. It's a lot that goes into content, and I feel like people assume like, oh, that's just easy money. No,
No.
it's not.
No. No.
It's it's
Which
it's, it's
which by the way, I do like the pictures you do put out there.
Oh, thank you very much.
Absolutely, I can tell a lot of effort was put into it. So for sure. Um.
Actually, you'd be surprised. A lot of the ones that are actually nice, that don't get a lot of the likes and the views, are the ones that I spend the most time on. And then the ones that have the most views and the most likes, or the reels that I post, are the ones that don't take me that long. So I'm
Yeah.
still trying to figure out, like, what's the formula for that.
What I
So
noticed from at least three of them was the one that had the most likes was the one that had your feet in it, and a lot of people were commenting on that. And I'm like, bro, like that's really what people got to do is just
exactly, exactly. And but you know what? It happened overnight, and I can't figure out, like, how did it get to that point? Because again, there's nothing wrong with it.
yeah,
Um, but then, like I said, I will sit there and I would put, outfits together and be like, beautiful outfits, go on location, do everything. I'm
yeah,
spending, a couple hours outside making content in that way, just to have variety.
mhm.
And like, I'll get like 1,000 likes. And I'm like, okay. And then I'll be home and be like, hey, I just got a pedicure. Let me just, take a cute picture with my feet. And it's like,
50,000,
boom.
50,000 likes right there, plus 500 comments of the same
Exactly. And then
thing.
I'm like, this is where my life has come to.
Yeah.
Like,
No, one
you
dude
know
was funny. She was like, "Yo, don't talk about her feet. You about to get blocked."
no.
That shit was funny as hell.
Because I had posted, like, just a regular picture, and I literally had somebody comment, because I also like I monitor my comments, where if you don't follow me, or you have a minimal amount of following me, you're not allowed to comment, and I see it like in my approved comments. So
Yeah.
I'll go in there and see it, and a dude would be like, can we see your feet? Oh, I'm gonna post a disclaimer. Management says there's enough feet on my page that if you see if you ask me, I will block you.
Yeah.
So
Like
yeah,
you said, to each their own. But me personally, I don't know exactly where that liking or that fetish, fantasy, where that comes from. I really
yeah,
don't. People
like
are on their feet all the time. Like I,
yeah. I mean, I don't get it either, but it's I don't, to each his own, and I value the people that do follow me, because of that. I just didn't expect my page to sort of be geared towards that.
yeah,
So I do like making different content. Even when they had Instagram had the whole reels incentive stuff,
yeah,
I was dishing out, funny things or this or that, because it was a reason for me to be like, hey, at least I'm gonna get a couple bucks. It's not a lot. But
yeah.
then now it's like I said, the amount of time that it goes into memorizing these sounds, and making sure that you're aesthetically pleasing while you're doing these sounds, and trying to throw good content out. It's
It's hard.
like,
It's
for
hard.
what? I'm gonna get like 20 comments on like 100 likes, but I show my feet. It's at 33,000. Bet. You want to see feet? Let's go.
Yeah. Which,
But
as a man, like, yeah, like, if I had with my female, I'd be like, cool, you got a pedicure, like, they look good, but I'm not gonna be like, I want them in my mouth, like, right now, like,
yeah. But again, I mean, to each his own. Like I really, like I said, these guys follow me, and they're actually, you'd be surprised. The majority of guys are very respectful.
which is good.
Um,
Yeah, that's good.
yeah, you would think there'd be like a whole bunch of like, other people that are rude or saying rude comments, which is again why I monitor a lot of my stuff.
Yeah,
But no, I literally, since I've had, followers and stuff, and people on my page, they're very, very respectful.
that's good.
I don't block people a lot, so.
I didn't want to go through the trouble of monitoring all of it, so I was like, I'm just gonna turn comments off completely.
I noticed that because I was gonna say, I was gonna be like, wait, where's the stuff? But people are ruthless online. Like I'm
Yeah,
like, for my mental health, like I'm nice to everyone. I don't judge people. I'm a big sweetheart. So like if I get like somebody saying like rude things, that's why I would feel like if I ever went viral, I would hate it. If like I were ever to be posted somewhere like the shade room or something,
yeah,
I would never look at the comments. I would no.
yeah. Okay, yeah. But I mean, hey, that doesn't stop people from being in the request section. Like, there's people that will say some cool, positive stuff, some weird stuff, some straight up like hate stuff. Just being hateful.
Yeah. And that to me is
But
just crazy. Like the hate stuff, it's like, but why? Like, why are you so hateful? Is your life like that
I
miserable?
straight up
Like,
told one of them because I usually don't put attention to it. I don't like entertain it. But there was one I was like, I'm gonna say this, and I said, you get so creative with the hate you're putting out, but you can't get creative with something else.
mm-hmm. Exactly. So, and it's almost like they're jealous. I feel like it's a jealousy thing because there's a difference between like constructive criticism for somebody to say, hey, I liked your content, but like, can we, have less of whatever? And you're like,
Yeah.
okay, cool. Next time, jot it down. But then some people are just like,
Instead of
F
being like,
you,
oh, shit sucks. Yeah, like
yeah, like your family's gonna die. And you're like, what? What do you what?
why say all that? Like,
It's people that are just bored with their life, and it's just like, you guys is just so the internet is such a nasty place sometimes.
I see it more often when people like on people's lives on TikTok, and I feel like that's where you see most of the weird and hate comments is on people's TikTok live, and I feel bad for them because they're just going live chilling, and they're getting all these weird, hateful comments with a mix of some good comments, but they're focusing on the hate. And I'm like, don't do that because they're gonna keep coming. They're gonna keep saying shit.
Exactly, exactly. Like I was actually on it was like a podcast thing on YouTube for like one of those like red pill whatever those things were.
Yeah,
And the first thing that the host said, he was like, do not read the comments. I was like, I am not reading anything. I don't think I even saw the episode just because I hate to like look at myself.
yeah,
But I wasn't ready. And I don't think I said anything bad or was like opposing to anything. I was there with another young lady who was like younger than me.
yeah,
And it was just like, I don't know. I just can't take it because I'd rather just not see it. Like, people just say things just to say things if they have a disagreement with you.
yeah,
So I feel like just don't give out hate. Just, you don't like something, scroll. You don't see me on people's pages like, ugh, I don't like the shoes you're wearing. Okay.
well, you're not the one wearing them, so
You're
chill.
not the one wearing them. You're not the one. Like, what do you want me to say to you? And they just want a response.
Yeah,
Um, like I said, I barely block people, and I something that sticks out in my head is I have posted like some reel, just saying little things like, oh, somebody said to hit them up, and I was just like next or something, and some dude like commented, which nobody saw because I blocked them and deleted it, but he's like, this is why men need to stop giving you bitch's attention, because you guys think you're all. I said, bro, based off a funny reel, like you really just took it to like,
he got butthurt about something. That's what it
yeah,
sounded like to me. He got butthurt
but
about
it's like
something.
somebody I've never like interacted with or even like, I don't know, it was just weird to me. Like you're sitting here assuming that I'm all these things, but like bro, it's a real. Like, laugh.
Yeah.
Just laugh. Just go with it.
And
Don't.
that's the other thing. They don't know, like, they're not getting a real, like, taste of your personality, like this is. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're conversating, we're talking. This is what I know
Yeah.
of your personality. It's not a real. So people need to stop taking that shit so seriously. For real.
Yeah. No, and I get that a lot. Like, when I went on that show, um, the guy, like, he's talking about, oh, and women and the roles that people play in the homes, and I'm like, well, I do a little bit of everything. Even I'll sit there and do home improvements, and they're like, no, you don't, and I'm like, yeah, okay. And then, like, a week later, I was on, my story, and I'm posting, like, I'm fixing my stairs or something, and they're like, oh, we thought you were lying, bro. Like, what
like
the
he like he's saying it like he knows your life type of deal is yeah.
Yeah,
But
like, I'm
that
gonna pretend I'm like this like super fake person that I don't, I'm not intellectual. I'm just super, just dense. Like, no, you
so
don't know me based off picture.
a lot of dudes that are podcasting are doing that because they're thinking that if they're gonna be rude to women and stuff like that, that's gonna get them the clout because they're watching Andrew Tate, they're watching Sneeko, watching all these people. That's what they're
Yeah,
thinking. Right? And that looks bad on me as a male podcaster because when I'm promoting and I'm asking people and doing all my thing, usually they're probably thinking like, "Oh, you're probably just gonna talk shit to me." And I'm like, "No, like look at my
yeah,
content. That's not at all what it's about. Like this is a whole vibe, good vibe, just keeping a cordial conversation. That's it. I'm not here to
exactly.
talk shit to you. Like
Exactly. I'm kind of a little sad that I missed the last season's conversation, because I think that was pretty
the
interesting.
like the topic of last season.
Yeah, yeah, the, like, that kind of
I'll
stuff. I feel like that would have been
bring that one back. I had like 40 episodes in that season because everybody wanted to talk about their piece of relationships and stuff like that. So,
a.
everybody wanted to talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, this one's good too. But I feel like when it comes to stuff like that, I feel like there's so much perspective. Like, when it
Yeah.
comes to, like, male and female, that, it's nice to hear a lot of things. Because don't get me wrong, there's times where, like, I will see women say things online, and I'm like, are you out of your mind? Like, I
That word a
I
lot of
think
people using delusional.
yes, like, I saw something, I don't know on what gossip, blog or whatever I saw it on, but it was like a text message exchange of, like, this girl who the guy was like, "Hey, my car got broken into. I need to, like, reschedule our date." And she's
Yeah.
like, "Okay, no problem. That's gonna be a $50 rescheduling fee." And he was like, "Okay."
The fact that he said okay was stupid for one, because
So I'm
and
like,
then
"Are you
two,
encouraging her behavior?"
yeah, and then two, why think there's a fee for that? Like the man's car broke down. What if your car broke down? There wouldn't be no fee.
Exactly. So then these are things that you kind of, like, be like, "Is this real? Is this?" or is this just for clickbait? But
I
then
think some of it's got to be for clickbait. Like it's got to be to get the attention of people. It has
it
to be.
no, but just like there's, like, some men that really think, like, oh, women this and women that. There's some women that are like, listen, I don't think a date should be going to the movies or coffee. Like, he needs to invest in me. And I'm like, girl, he don't know you.
Yeah,
He don't know you.
yeah,
Like, how he knows that he's gonna spend $200 on dinner and you're gonna be very quiet. There's not gonna be no spark, no conversation. Like, just test the waters first, and
yeah.
then, But some I just feel like we're always battling each other when it comes to, like, the male female thing. So
Well, since you missed last year, we can get a little bit in this topic. Why not? Why not? We'll
okay,
do it.
okay, we're gonna deviate. Let me plug in my phone because I'm on like 8%. So hold on.
Uh oh. Uh oh.
Okay. Give me 1 second. All right. All right. So let's get into this topic. I have a lot to say.
Absolutely. So go ahead. Go ahead. Start it off. Start it off. What do you want to talk about with relationships?
No, I mean, you started off because I could
Let's
just
start
go.
off. So I feel like when it comes to my generation, as far as the dating and stuff, for one, they messed up dating apps because it ruined the whole point of dating apps. So like when they use Tinder and stuff like that, it's all kind of just going and sneaking around. Not really sneaking around, but going and like fucking and then dipping out and then on to the next type of shit. And I feel like with that creates a lot of what's called situationships, which I don't really think is thing. Like that's just a fancier way of saying friends with benefit.
Oh, of course.
And I feel
But
like
you know,
that happens a lot in my generation. But
but that's not just your generation. I feel like that's just what everybody, because
could be.
nowadays a lot of people are dating when they're damaged. Like I feel like that whole situation, it's like you kind of just don't know who people are
Hmm.
until you've literally have known them for a while. So like for example, you go on Plenty of Fish or whatever, Tinder, Match.com. I think Tinder, like if I met somebody on Tinder, like you know what it's for.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, come on, don't tell me you about to start a prayer group from a person you met on Tinder. Like
Okay.
that's just like, come on, you're setting yourself up. Um, so I don't think it's just your generation. I just feel like people are just so dense. And it's always like a battle. Like I'm from the old school generation. Like my parents have been married for years. So I have like a good example of what, relationships should be.
Hmm.
But again, that's stuff that all needs to be built. That's all stuff that comes with getting to know somebody. So like for example, um, with the social media aspect,
Yeah.
everything is visual, right? You want to portray you're happy, you want to portray you have money, you have to portray all these things that have, yeah, that eventually it's like, okay, so you want to invite a girl and pick her up in a nice car and pay for this dinner and do whatever, and then later on expect to not keep that same appearance or that same energy, then
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah. Or like when they're showing themselves as like a super nice and respectful person, and then when you keep hanging out with them like a month later, it's a whole different
yeah.
person. That happens a lot too, and people are always surprised that that happens.
Yeah, but you know what? I also feel like I don't, well, like you said, your generation is probably very different from mine, but I feel like I'm a very good judge of character. And it's just not like actions per se, but
Yeah.
like some breakers for me or just some eye openers for me are little things such as the way a person interacts with a waiter or a waitress.
Yeah.
And I won't say anything, but if you're not courteous to the person that is waiting on you during your first date, and you're very like abrupt or you're very short, or even if something ends up being, a miss in your meal and you're like, excuse me, like, what? You could be the nicest person to me. You could be opening the doors, buy me flowers. I will never speak to you again. Just because it shows me your character.
Yeah.
That shows me who you are.
Yeah. And
Um,
like who's to show he's not gonna act that way towards you eventually type of deal. You know?
exactly. And again, like I'm one to just like, there's little things that you can pick up on a person's character. There's little things that you can pick up on everything. So it just goes beyond the, oh, people pretend well. They can be the nicest person to you, and then once they get what they want, then all of a sudden now they stop calling or they stop saying good morning or good night. So I
Yeah.
feel like you just kind of have to wait that out. Like I feel like the
Absolutely.
dating pool is so shitty right now.
It's whack. And everyone I asked them that season, they all said down. They agree with me. They all said it's going downhill. And I was like, what
Downhill.
about 2024? Do you think it's gonna kind of see a rise? They're like, nah, it's gonna get worse. I was like, you know what? I have no choice but to agree with you. I have yet to see like a sign of it moving upwards type of deal.
But think about like the way that I see the way that I see or I view the whole dating thing. It's like some men, they want a traditional woman, right? A woman that is like their mother, that, that's gonna rear their kids and is gonna be, able, like minded and smart and all these things that check off, right? Not in the streets, not doing this and not doing that. They have all these expectations,
Yeah,
but then also will sit there and be like, well, I don't want a bitch that I have to pay for or I have to like court because she's a gold digger, or I don't want a female that woo 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 woo. And I'm like, men back then literally did everything that you're opposed to doing, so make it make sense. Before, women were doing these things, not going out, rearing the kids, because men were taking care of them, bringing the money in, being sweet, all that stuff. Now that's not possible. Now we have more baby showers than we do marriages.
That is so true.
You don't mind being a baby mama, but you don't believe in marriage. Like how?
Yeah. What I've seen though, and especially from like old girls I used to go to high school with, they have kids, but their standards on when it comes to looking for men they want to date, they have to make a shit ton of money, have to be a certain height, which I never really understood how height is a factor in dating,
That's
and
a
a
whole nother.
and a compatible zodiac sign. That's what it's come to. So even though I come from this generation, I still have yet to understand why those three are like the most popular things to look for in a compatible partner.
But notice how it's all superficial. There's nothing of substance. None of them said, or none of them believe in, I want an educated man, a man that is God fearing. None of them pretty much look for those things, but they're willing to lay down with, rinky dink Joe Schmo and then get pregnant. And it's like, oh, well, I got a shitty baby daddy. We'll make better decisions.
With college point guard who is a Scorpio and like,
Like,
oh, okay,
okay, so are you, America's Next Top Model? Do you have, a solid degree? So it's like they have these expectations that they don't per se meet.
yeah,
So I
yeah,
feel like, yeah, everything is superficial. Everything's about appearances. Or even like with the height thing. Like, you're really gonna just discredit somebody because they're not tall enough for you? Like, girl, what you gonna do when you're, 200 pounds over after you have your first kid, and now they don't want to date a big girl?
yeah, and they're short themselves too. Like, what's a 5'2" woman gonna do with a dude that's 6'4"?
Yeah, like I feel like, don't have, and it's okay to have your preferences, but don't have preferences that you yourself don't meet. Don't have criteria that you yourself don't have.
Exactly.
You
Yeah,
know what I mean? And like I said, everything is just visuals. Everything's about portraying this image of, oh, I want a man that's tall or an athlete because I want to be online flossing my purse or my girl. Can you
yeah,
buy that if tomorrow he tells you he don't want to be with you? And then like,
yeah.
you know what I mean? Now you're over there crying, back in your Honda crying because
Heartbroken
he
and stuff. Yeah,
heartbroken. Like, I don't know.
but
I
it's
just feel
funny
like
because they make it seem like that's a necessity. Like they're looking for that in a relationship. But then, I'm not tall myself. I'm 5'6", and I would talk to a female like that back then, and we would date for a little bit, and that just debunked it as just like you don't like just tall dudes. Like you could date shorter dudes too. You know,
exactly.
dated
But
females that were taller than me. That like that stuff doesn't really matter at all.
exactly. And I don't think it should matter. Like I feel like, people say, "Oh, well, I have preferences. I would like this person." But
Yeah,
we've gotten to a point now where it's like, again, everything is visually, it's what looks good, you know? And I feel like a lot of people forget that. That's why we get so consumed, and I'm saying we because I also include myself in that. We get so consumed in like the false reality of what social media is or
Mhm.
what should be or where we should be in life or visuals. Like I said, you want to have the IG, what is it, couple goals.
Yeah,
And it's like, couple goals, but yet, you find out later on he's beating your butt. Or, like let's take let's say what's her name, the one with the singer, I forgot her name. She's like an R&B singer where she has like twins and like has like Bubbles, her daughter named Bubbles. It'll come to me. But anyway,
I'm trying to think of the name too, and not.
she's like an R&B person where they keep calling her ghetto. Ah, it'll come to me. But anyway, so like when she was with her the first father of her children, she was going in on the guy's baby moms. And they were always battling. And the baby mom's like, he don't
Are you
take care of
talking
his kids.
about Kelani?
No, 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 no.
Not
It was
Kelani.
a she's African American. It's gonna
No,
come to me.
that's gonna bother me now.
I know, right? But she has, okay, so she has a bunch of tattoos. Her voice is really pretty. She's kind of like fairly new. She came out like a few years ago.
Yeah.
I know she recently had twins.
When you say African American tattoos, old baby father, and then has like a
R&B.
daughter. R&B. I think of Kehlani.
No, 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 no. It because she has, I think, 3 children now, by two
Oh,
different guys. Um, but anyway, so like when she was with the father of her children, who's a producer, again, it's
mhm.
gonna come to me. She was going in on the baby moms, and the other baby moms was like obviously attacking her, and she's like, "Oh, you're just jealous. You're this." Turn around, karma, spin the block,
Spin the.
because eventually, London on the track. So London on the track is her baby daddy.
Oh, okay.
Um, and she like now she was like complaining and like, oh, he doesn't take care of his kids and this, and he's bringing her through the ringer. So all that goes to say, it's like you never know where you're gonna go. You never know what position you're gonna find yourself in. So it's all again superficial. You want to portray that you're this big happy family to everybody else, and then you end up finding out that like he's the same person he's been or has a pattern of being. So I think that's
That's
why the
kind of like
generation.
that's kind of like Blueface and what's her name?
Oh, but we knew that. We knew that. Come
That's
on,
been toxic
like
from the beginning. That's been toxic from the beginning. But for some awful reason, they stayed together and they tried to make it work. But
we
no.
knew that it was a money making thing. Get it, got it, fine. You made money. You're gonna be in the blogs, but girl, when you had the 10 abortions before that,
Ten
that
she had,
was
I didn't even know that she had 10 abortions before
no,
that.
no, no. It was like 4, but it goes back to the myths and the paranormal activities of the good spirits are telling you
Yeah,
that run, run, run.
I like that.
And
I
she's
like
like,
that.
nah,
You tied the two topics together. I like
see?
that.
Boom.
I like that.
So it's like, if God shows you something, run with it. But you want to be hard headed. And you're like, no, 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 look at you.
Yeah, that's why you don't ignore the signs. Stop ignoring the signs.
There you go. The universe is always going to throw signs. So, yeah, no, I feel like, yeah, the dating pool sucks, but I also feel like we owe ourselves to kind of be more in tune with the things that we're looking for, not just visually, but just like emotionally and certain values. Like again, I've spoken to people who are like, oh, I'm dating people and they want this on the first day, or they expect to be taken care of or bought nice things, and I'm like, but if you go on her IG page, is that the lifestyle she's portraying? Is she out in a different country every other month?
Yeah,
Then you can't want the baddie without opening the pockets.
yeah, that's true. That's so
Like,
true.
she didn't have a job. What do you think she's doing? Like,
Yeah, yeah. I just feel like it would help if people went back to the old school type of way and just started legitimately dating, doing more face to face in person, like even meeting face to face. No more of the technology, social media shit. Because I feel like that's a huge factor in today's dating too.
yeah, but how often do people go out? Think about it.
No, that's why I say they need to do that. If they just do that, like I feel like it'd be a start to making it better.
Yeah, I don't think that's possible because even now, like I said, you have the limit
It's not.
screen time with kids. But okay, I don't know about you, but for example, I don't know if you're dating, if you have somebody, but when you talk to somebody, do you literally call them and have discussions, in-depth discussions over the phone, or are you more of like a texter? Do you feel you're more vulnerable during texts
So
versus?
high school me was more like, yeah, I'd say texting, more texting and then linking up, like go meet up and do something. That was me. And then once I found my significant other, it became more calling and more conversational type stuff on the phone. You know what I'm
But
saying?
even during like discussions?
Yeah, yeah, just discuss it randomly. Like sometimes I'd be somewhere else, like in a whole another town, doing some stuff, and we would just talk. Whenever I have time, we would just talk on the phone about whatever.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm able to do
Mostly being
both.
about life, adult stuff.
I'm able to do both, but when it comes to like certain like tough, ooh, excuse me, when it comes to certain tough topics,
Yeah,
like I don't know, I feel more vulnerable, literally. Um, like just I don't know, through text. Like I'll start it through text and then try to elaborate and be like, hey, just call me because we don't understand the tone or whatever's going on.
Yeah.
But I just feel again, everything has to be a screen. We
I feel
meet
about
people.
FaceTime. Sometimes I FaceTime.
Yeah, we meet people through screens. We socialize through screens. Um, and it's I don't know. Everything is through screens. So
And technology is advancing, so pretty soon people gonna be teleporting to each other. That might be the start of it, though. If they could just teleport to each other, they can start that face to face stuff. No more screen.
I don't know.
That might change the game a little bit. Have, I have hope.
I mean, yeah, but again, it just all goes into I don't know. It's just it's a lot. I feel like we're just losing people as a whole, if that makes sense. Maybe we are an experiment and maybe they're just giving us
To
technology to be like, let's see how far we can make these people go crazy. And
the point where there's no procreation at all.
exactly. Now we're just gonna, make babies in cryotubes. Like we're
Yo,
like test tube babies. And weren't you talking about clones?
yeah, yeah. I was.
I mean,
Your favorite
like,
celebrity could be a clone.
something that sticks out, Jamie Foxx.
Really?
Remember, no, okay. So remember recently they were saying that he had like that medical scare, whatever he had.
Yeah.
Um, After he didn't come out, he didn't give like an apology, say everybody thank you. So they kind of got on him on that. Fast forward, we see him, like I guess somebody sees him, and he just I don't know, he just looks different. Like he looks, I don't want to be a conspiracy, but he just looks different. Like his skin tone is a little bit different. His appearance, and again, it might be attributed to what happened to him. But it's
Could
like,
be.
are you a clone? Did they make you in a lab?
Yeah.
Mm,
I'm telling you, that cloning shit could be real. That could be the AI technology that is now being released to the public. And there could be
I
more
don't
to it.
know.
Because there was a, I don't know if you're a big NFL fan or anything, but
Hello, go Cowboys. I
oh yeah,
saw that Raiders Cup.
hey, we're not gonna
I saw that cup. I wasn't gonna say anything.
absolutely. You know what I'm saying? We finna beat the Bills Sunday too. Tune in. But anyway, hey y'all fuck the Giants up.
Oh, we did.
Woo wee.
Oh, we
But anyway,
did. Uh-huh.
what was I saying? So the Chargers game, they had AI fans there. I don't know if you saw that post. They
I
had AI
saw,
fans there, and the skin, the face, everything looked realistic.
except
Like
the ears.
just the ears. But let's say they found some way to cover that up. You would never know. You would think you're sitting next to another human being, and that's
I
the scary
mean,
part.
do you really believe you wouldn't be able to distinguish a real person from an AI person? Would
I
the
would.
would the movements be as fluid?
I don't know because they were saying the facial expressions were matching what was going on with the plays and stuff, and I don't know. I feel like I would have to be there with it to try to kind of distinguish it. You know,
Nah, I don't know. Like, see stuff like that. Like, I just feel like no. Like,
you'd be like
why?
something about you is robotic.
Like, why? Okay, and then even then, okay. So they let's say they want to have these things come into, the stadium and stuff.
Yeah,
Aren't you losing revenue in doing that because you're not getting the monies from actual people that are paying $300 $400 to be there? What is the purpose? What's the purpose of that? I just want to know like what their mindset is.
I don't think they're gonna use that for like fans per se. I think they're just using that to like say like look how realistic they can fit in. You know, already right now type of
Hmm.
deal. I could be wrong. I don't know if they use
I,
that
I
for
heard
fans as a replacement.
I heard it was a
But
commercial. I heard they were using that as a commercial. But again, like why? Like I don't know.
what
I
if
feel like,
Prescott clone?
oh, you know what who?
Dak Prescott. What if he's a
No.
clone?
Mm, anyway, let's not go easy on my quarterback. Um,
You know the position. I'm so proud of you. Oh man. No, there was someone. So there's someone that's a Seahawks fan I was talking to.
uh-huh.
She thought DK Metcalf was the quarterback. I was like, you know what? I can't talk football with you after this, bro. She tried to say DK Metcalf was a better quarterback than Jimmy Garoppolo. I'm like, bro.
Oh my God. Yeah, no, I love, when it comes to my team and stuff, like I enjoy football. And they'll be like, but do you actually know the rules, or are you just like a girl with the jersey on? I'm like, listen, bro,
No, no,
we're gonna talk
let's do
about,
that.
Rogers getting hurt and like, out for the season. Like we're gonna really talk football because that's a topic I'm really like,
Okay,
you know.
what's the Cowboys prediction? What do you predict? How they gonna do this year?
You know what? I would hate to jinx. I would really hate to jinx it. Um, I don't know. Like I have high hopes, but then I just feel like we're just always doing this. So like I had not as bad as they did, but I didn't have high hopes for the Giants because I went to the game last year and we beat them. We beat them the year before that too. So
Yeah,
it's like we have a pattern of kicking their ass. So that I wasn't worried about. But like, bro, 40-0.
yeah. Well, the Giants were never really too good of a team. Like they got lucky last year going to a wild card.
Yeah, but even then, like to pay freaking Jones 160 mil for what?
He's below average.
For what? It's the same mistake that we made with paying Zeke all that money, and for what?
Yeah, now he's
So,
playing for another team. I think what team he goes? I forgot.
isn't he playing for? Is it No, was
Patriots.
it
Yeah,
the
he went to the Patriots.
Patriots? Yeah. So
But you
it's like
guys
I
didn't
just
need him. You guys have Tony Pollard. Y'all don't need Zeke. You know what I'm saying?
I know, but or even CD, but to me it's just like I don't know. I don't see. I'm hoping we do good. I'm hoping,
Yeah.
fingers crossed. I know we're probably going to kick the Jets' ass for sure. Um, even though they did good. But the Eagles, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't
tired of
know.
the Eagles and I'm tired of the fucking Chiefs. I'm gonna say that. But you're the first Cowboys fan to like be realistic about it. All other Cowboy fans are like, "Nah, Super Bowl all the way." I'm like,
Oh
you
no, see,
guys
but
say that shit every year.
they always say that. I mean, it's been since '95, but
Then again, I'm a Raiders fan, so I'm like, fuck. I hope we get to wild card. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not even
yes.
thinking Super Bowl right now. Fuck.
That's why I'm like, I'm gonna take it as I'm gonna roll with it. I'm gonna roll with the punches, and we're gonna see. I don't want to jinx it. I don't want to be like Super Bowl bound.
Yeah, nah. I get heated, man, when they play like shit.
I think we all do. Like yeah, my anxiety be on 100. I just be
I
like,
turn I
bro.
turn in, I turn into the coach himself, as if they could fucking hear me.
I remember last year I was watching the game after like we got rid of Bailey, and that's an argument that I always get so upset about because Bailey was literally the second most accurate kicker in the NFL, and we got rid of him. Get this idiot. I don't. He's not even that good, so I'm not gonna even mention his name. We get him, and during the game, he literally failed at like 4 to 5 kicks consecutively
Yeah.
and cost us the game. So it's like I was motherfucking it up. I was like, "How dare you? Listen, Jerry, how dare you? Could have just paid Bailey that money."
Yeah. See, that's the thing. You have to feel bad about for the kickers. Like if they hit that field goal, they're all love. But then they miss one field goal, it's like, oh, I fucking hate this motherfucker.
See, but like when he did the first time, it was like, "All right, cool, bet." Second time, all right, cool, bet. But after like the fourth, like, bro, are you gonna take him out, or do you want me to go do this kick?
Kick
At this
myself.
point, yeah, like, do you want me to kick myself? Like, you want to put a fan in really quick? Because at this point,
Bruh.
it's gonna be more accurate. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, definitely love football.
I like
That's
that.
all.
We could talk football. I like that. I fuck with
Yeah,
that.
I talk about a whole bunch of stuff. I'm very what you call it, but yeah,
Nah, that's-
definitely.
that about
Yep,
wraps up the podcast episode. It was, I liked it. That was a good vibe for sure. Um,
definitely.
yeah, that last part with the NFL, you impressed me. I'm very.
Must do again. Must do again.
Oh, absolutely. Before we close out, though, I do have a little challenge at the end of every podcast episode.
Oh God, I wasn't ready for that. What kind of
No, no,
challenge?
it's nothing crazy. Like, it's nothing difficult or hard. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you ever heard of the emoji challenge type deal?
No, what is that?
Or like, I'll pop up like the face emojis, and then you'll just try to act them out
Oh
as
my
accurate as possible.
God! So you're just gonna embarrass me right before we get off?
No, it's not embarrassing. it it's just something goofy. You know what I mean?
Oh my god.
They're
I,
easy ones. They're not like crazy ones. We gotta do like a flip or some shit. You know what I'm saying?
but what with like just my face though? Like,
Yeah. Just the base.
oh my god. All right.
They're easy ones. All right, you see where it
Please.
says you see where it says Gonzo's Convos?
Uh huh.
All right, that's where the emoji about to pop up.
How?
Yeah, see you got it. You're doing good. I get on an A. Now, how many times do you use that one?
Oh, every day.
See, that one is the
I'm a
most used by
Latina. That's
everybody.
like part of my usual,
Yeah, that
And then
was
the
the
neck
most.
roll too. You can't forget the neck roll though.
Yeah, that's the most used emoji of everybody. See, that one I use when I'm like too lit. Like when I can't text, I'm too lit. I just put that. People know
Oh,
what I'm talking.
yeah. I'm actually usually a constant emoji person. So
Oh, okay. You see, they easy ones. Do you use
I
this
can
one often or no?
nah. Well, what during text conversations?
Yeah. Just regular.
Nah, nah, nah.
Nah.
Not really.
And then this one's like one of the newer ones. See what? See, I know this one's a new one, but I've seen this one in different posts. I don't really know the whole meaning of this specific emoji.
Well, it's mostly like you're embarrassed. Like I want to see it, but I really can't look. Like, oh my god, what's happening? Like
Okay. So you think people
that.
use that emoji just like for those types of things?
Yeah.
Okay. See that,
All
I
right.
guess. Yeah. I thought it was gonna be more for like if they're scared or something. Type of deal.
No, no, no. It's mostly like, I want to see it, but
Yeah.
maybe I don't want to see it. That's
But
when
what's
you're
funny,
watching a scary
like,
movie.
yeah. But what's funny is like people. I don't think people really do that face in real life. Like all the four other ones, you can see people wink all the time or like do the little
Oh,
kiss face. But
you haven't
this,
seen me watch scary movies because half the time I'm doing this.
what movie made you do that?
All of them, all of them.
All of them, even the old school ones. Like if you
Yeah,
would have watched Friday,
I don't watch scary movies. I don't like jump scare. I can't do jump scare.
so like if you would have watched Friday the 13th, like right now, that would be you.
Yeah, but that's not really like a scary movie. Like I don't know. I'm talking about like The Conjuring. I'm talking about like those really,
Oh, okay.
movies.
So like when the music gets louder, that's when you.
Yes, I'm the one to go. Like, what's going on? Because I don't like the jump scare. I don't like the oh.
Okay. So then, what makes you do this one then? Because you said this.
Just that. Like I do that, but again, if I see something gory, I don't know if you ever seen that show The Boys.
Uh.
It's I think it's on Netflix, but it's like a superhero thing.
Yeah.
And it's like so gory and they're like cutting people's heads off and like splattering and I'm just like no, I can't I have to watch it. But scary. Definitely look
I,
into it because it's a good show.
I might have to. That sounds interesting. Not the gory part, but like the superhero part.
Oh, you are gonna love that show because it's like an adult superhero, like R-rated Marvel type of thing.
That's
So
funny. But like
yeah.
this one's speaking. So has there ever been a moment where you just didn't want to look and you had to tell the person next to you like to tell you when it's over type of deal?
Um, not really. Like I just feel like I'll look a little bit and then cover it and then just it'll eventually pass. I don't think they're gonna show the gory part for like long. You know what I mean? So
I got you. I got you. Nah, there's been times where people are like will do that and they're like, "Tell me when it's over," and I'm like, "Nah, I'm gonna fuck with them." That's
yeah.
all. That's what I say that.
Now you're gonna cover your eyes for a really long time.
Yeah,
So
probably the whole movie. And then you're gonna ask me what happened. I'm not gonna tell you.
that'd be me. You know, I've done that. So
To here, you don't trust nobody else.
nope, nope. Figure it out myself.
Hell yeah. Well, that wraps that up. I appreciate you coming. I appreciate you reaching out. Honestly,
No,
um,
yeah, of course. Thank you.
that
I was like
surprised me.
definitely.
Yeah, that surprised me because usually I'm the one like promoting and trying to look for good people to bring on the podcast. So when you reached out, wanting to get on, that surprised me. Wow.
Yeah, no, I mean, I like conversations, especially like this one is kind of like very lighthearted, different
Yeah.
topics. I usually can talk about anything. Um, so yeah, it just, yeah.
So it's like
I'm glad
you
I did
just
too.
So, like you just saw my content and you're like, I want to do this type of deal.
Yeah, no, I was like scrolling through it and I'm like, different conversations and stuff. And it just seems very like just a conversation. Because sometimes what happens is when you have a topic, it like becomes like questions and like, investigative. And then I don't know, it just becomes very like mentally taxing versus like this, like where the conversation is flowing and talk about different things. And I feel like
Yeah,
that's what makes good podcasting, where you're able to multitask, talk about different topics, and then always gear it back to the topic and, you know,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I always say like that's the main topic, but I always like to steer it away and talk about different things because
different things.
my
Yeah.
mind goes everywhere. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
So
mine does too. Trust me.
that's why people are always like, yeah, like you're perfect for broadcasting because you keep talking about other shit. I'm like, fuck
The
it.
same thing. I've actually been told too, like, hey, you should start a show. I'm like, one day, we'll
You
see.
should, you should. You know, like, I got all the right tools to start it.
We'll,
Because
we'll,
actually,
we'll
I was
definitely.
studying way about them a couple years ago, and I was just posting to Spotify, and then now we're here posting to Apple Podcasts and YouTube too. So
That's
like,
awesome. Congratulations. Very, very, very good. It was like I said, thank you for having me.
yeah,
I'm glad I reached out, but definitely would love for you to have me again, and then yeah, we'll
absolutely,
just talk more bullshit.
absolutely. This was a good one. This is probably the best one of the season, to be honest with you. 'Cause a lot of people like they threw their stories in there, but it wasn't like as continuous. I had to kind of come up with other shit to talk about, type of deal, and like keep it
Yeah.
going.
No, no. I mean, like I said, I watched a few of them, and it was entertaining, different topics. But I did notice that it was more, you're like, oh, so asking questions, and then they would elaborate and so on. But
Yeah,
again, it comes into like being able to converse with somebody fluidly, and then that way there's no like gaps in the, like, okay, what are we gonna
yeah.
talk
That's the
about?
one thing you want to avoid with podcasts, no gaps, because then you're just kind of just staring at each other awkwardly, and it's like,
Yeah, like what do we talk about now? Like, this is weird.
and I'm over here looking at my watch, like, so what's next? You know, like,
Yeah, like well, I noticed, and I'm like, wait, it's already 10:40. Oh my god.
yeah,
Well,
I
my
know.
time.
10:40, yeah. So that 8:40 my time, yeah.
Okay, okay, good.
So, yeah,
You
that
know.
time, yeah, time flew definitely,
Yeah,
definitely.
it did
But
naturally. I wasn't
oh yeah,
expecting it to go that long, but thank you.
stay in touch, keep me in the loop with things, and look out for the posts.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much for having me. Have a
Hey,
great night.
yep, you